1958. The newly christened Gateway Clipper, a former fishing vessel from Lake Erie, Pennsylvania. Called the Bridget Dam, was boarded by the crew of the boat and 100 Girl Scouts, taken on a 2-hour sightseeing cruise. And that was the first cruise in the Gateway Clipper fleet's history. Fast forward 66 years later. We've had 22 boats as part of our fleet. Today we have 5, making us one of the largest inland fleets in the United States.
Sorry, guys.
And annually, 350,000 passengers sail with us. And today, you are part of that crowd. We thank you very much for spending some time with us here at the fleet. And right now, I'd like to introduce you to your narrator today, Julian. He's going to take you on a magical journey around the city of Pittsburgh, maybe some history of the city. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, here's Julian.
Through our architecture, our daily way of life, really the culture we enjoy here today, it all starts with these waterways. And when you have 3 rivers flowing through a large metropolitan area, one of the ways we adapted was with a lot of bridges. Pittsburgh currently has 446 bridges in the city today. The first one we're going to talk about is the one we're about to go beneath now. This happens to be the oldest bridge in the city of Pittsburgh, built in the 1880s. This is the Smithfield Street Bridge. So check this one out. Now, the Smithfield Street Bridge was designed by a German architect by the name of Gustav Lindenthal. I know nothing else about him. I do like saying his name. Why don't you say it with me again? Gustav Lindenthal. All right. Now, when he designed this bridge, he guaranteed that it would last 100 years. And as I just told you, the bridge is well over 130 years old. So there's 2 ways of looking at that. Either he designed an even better bridge than he could have possibly foreseen, or the bridge is well past its expiration date. Fear not, however, it did undergo renovations in the early 90s when it received historic landmark status. That bridge looks exactly how it would have looked when it was first completed in the 1880s. And if you take it all in, you can really see that. It's got those ornamental piers on either end, the light bulbs adorning it. Even that blue color is rare for the city. Nowadays, bridges are built a lot more, I'll just say utilitarian, but this is really a throwback to an era when artisanship and craftsmanship really show through in the architecture. And another thing about it, if you take a look at the superstructure, the blue part above the deck, and you take the whole thing in, but you just kind of focus in the middle there, it is said that this bridge looks like 2 fishes kissing. All right, and I tell you that basically to stall for time until we turn, and then I can bring your attention over to the right-hand side of the boat where you will see 2 more bridges. Like I said, 446, we're going to see quite a few today. The first one, that black bridge lower to the water there, that is the old Monongahela Railroad Bridge. However, in the 1980s, the Port Authority of Pittsburgh bought it and turned it into the T Bridge. The T is basically Pittsburgh's version of the subway. Nothing too remarkable about it. However, if you're going from the downtown section onto the North Shore, it actually goes in a tunnel beneath the Allegheny River. Just beyond that there, you'll see the high-deck tan bridge. That is the Liberty Bridge. Built in 1928, we nearly lost it in 2016, so not that long ago. What happened was the bridge was undergoing some repairs, and they had the whole underside tarped off to protect the workers from the elements. You get a look at that bridge and how big it is. These were 40, 60-foot long tarps. Well, one day a welding spark caught one of those tarps on fire. That tarp then caught some building materials on fire, and the whole thing burned so hot it actually buckled one of those vertical steel beams you see beneath there. They had to shut the bridge down for an entire month and fly engineers from all over the country just to see if the bridge was even salvageable. And if you're from out of town, you might think, okay, one bridge, 1 month, it looks like you got plenty of other options. But no, this caused a major disruption to traffic patterns, as this bridge does connect the downtown section off to the right to the Liberty tunnels off to the left-hand side. Those are these second tunnels. They hadn't figured out the ventilation system yet. I have been told they have since remedied that issue, making it safe to travel through, albeit a nightmare during rush hour. All right, let's talk about some buildings now. Off to the right-hand side, you'll see a tall, tan brick building with the river. Fun fact about this river is one of only 5 rivers in the entire world that flows south to north. The more commonly known one would be the Nile River in Egypt. And the reason for that is just gravity. You see, where this river gets its start is in a place called Fairmont, West Virginia. It's at a higher elevation than when it ends up here in Pittsburgh. Just that difference in elevation alone is enough to make this entire river flow south to north. Keep looking off to the right-hand side, all along the water's edge, you will see the amazing Monongahela Wharf parking lot. So it's a parking lot. Actually, the cheapest parking in all of downtown, for a reason very unique to the city. Now, you'll see all along the water's edge, you'll see lots of cement barriers, lots of metal pylons. Now, that's not to keep river debris out, that's not even necessarily for boats. It's even the existence of the country. State Park's looking real nice this time of year. The leaves are starting to change. It's a very beautiful city in the fall. Not so much in the winter, but we'll get through that.
One nacho, 2 nachos, we'll get that on for you. 2 nachos, anything else? Thank you, sir. 3 nachos?
All right, we're coming up on the star attraction of Point State Park, and that would be the fountain at the point. Always on this time of year, they kind of play it by ear with the weather and whatnot, but this is an unseasonably nice October day, so as you can see, it's still in full effect. Now that whole thing's actually on a wind measuring device that raises or lowers the jet of water on a really windy day, just to have to keep most of the water in the basin. However, when that is in full effect, that can shoot all of water 150 feet in the air, or if you're from out of town, that can shoot all of water to Canada.
Está en el estadio de Steelers allá.
You're now entering what the other narrator calls a very intriguing spot on the tour. Okay, we're in the confluence of 3 rivers. What that basically is 2 bodies of water coming together. So we're leaving the Monongahela River, we're going to turn and we're going to start heading upstream of the Allegheny River. Those 2 rivers come together and they create the Ohio River off to our left-hand side. We are currently at mile marker 0, the birthplace of the Ohio River. That's right, it starts in Pennsylvania. Now, this is a very significant point because the Ohio is a major commercial river, and to give you an idea why, we could make a left right now, and we could go for 981 miles where we'd end up in Cleveland, go through the Panama Canal, and end up in the Pacific Ocean, which makes Pittsburgh a port accessible from every major port in the world. The only constraints really being the height of certain bridges and the depth of the water in certain areas.
Last time the South 11 General was on board. Saying this is the terminal ATM now or what?
We just about finished that turn, and we are going to start heading upstream on the Allegheny River. Facts about the Allegheny River. We start at a place called Potter County, Pennsylvania, then marches up north into Olean, New York, before swinging back down towards the city. Now, only the last 72 miles of this river are what's considered navigable. What that means is the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers do not operate the water dam system. They guarantee us 9 feet of water on which to travel. That is more than enough for any vessel designed to be on these rivers, whether it's a passenger vessel such as this or a two you can see across the way. We all only sit in the water about 4 to 6 feet on average. It's called our draft, making that 9 feet more than enough. However, on average, these rivers are kept at about 16 and a half feet deep. I would have thought much deeper at one point before I worked here, but no, only 16 and a half. So whenever someone's nervous to get on the boat, sometimes they say, I don't know about this. I don't know how to swim. I've never been on a boat. I like to point out, these rivers are 16.5 feet deep. This boat is over 37 feet tall. In case of an emergency, just come up to the third deck with me. You won't get your feet wet. Off to the right-hand side, you'll